Man, Suguru has it rough. Okay, so originally I was gonna wait for like 2 episodes to come out for Jujutsu Kaisen, and then that episode didn't come out for a week, and then I had to look it up, and then apparently the next episode's coming out August 31st. I am not waiting that fucking long for that episode to come out. I might do another, I guess, video if that shit is good. But anywho, this episode I thought was still pretty good and worthy enough to do a video, and actually had a lot of insight that I definitely wanted to talk about, or just stuff I wanted to talk about with you guys at all. Just seeing the sad, tragic downfall of Suguru was just like, it was really obvious, especially with how many things are just like getting thrown at him in a specific moment of time, and how many things have just been adding up ever since the very first beginning of the season.
Like and subscribe, it helps.
Making an understanding statement of like why Suguru is like this right now in the day and age. From one, the cursed spirits that he sucks up all the time, like that really just puts a toll on him. He already thinks like tastes like shit and vomit wiped up with a rag, as he says it himself. And then just like, I guess him continuously always keep doing that as one of the like factors, but also the big factor of like him not just having a break, man. Busted. He literally needs a break. That's another main thing that goes on, because he just keeps moving, keeps going. He keeps doing this, feels like endless fetch quest of nonsense of continuing to either suck up cursed spirits, save people, and then having just a thought in his head like, is any of this even worth it anymore? Like, is it really truly worth doing all this? Like, do I even have an answer? Do I have a solution to my problem? Because this isn't what it's doing. It feels like I'm putting a band-aid on a big ass scar, to, I guess, put it bluntly, but also sort of showing us the root of the problem, because he probably could have just stuck with just the nasty thing of consuming the spirits. He probably could have been okay with it, but the thing is that really shut off, I guess, is when the star vessel died, and how much of a close attachment that he had with her, and just seeing her immediately just go away. That felt like it was just like such a big add-on to everything that's going on with Suguru. And I wouldn't be surprised to say that it wouldn't also be added on top of the fact of him, one, almost dying to Toji, as well as two, on top of that, Gojo sort of killing Toji, and then sort of Suguru maybe couldn't get his get back, more or less. And the only reason I do say that is because by the end of like episode 5, where he talks to him about how strong he is and stuff like that, it just feels like he has like that sort of envious nature when it comes to how strong Gojo is. Like, he sort of almost borderline wishes that he was him, to have all this strength, all this power, to be able to change things, or being able to, at least the strongest, to have a chance to be able to change the things that's going on right now. And it sort of almost borderline feels like we're getting told this whole story like from his literal perspective itself, even though maybe, I guess, Gojo is probably also dreaming about the situation, where the case may be as well. But it just feels like he's like the main center. You're just seeing like everything that's going on with him in the terms of like how he got to his destination, of like who he is and what he is in the here and now. Another thing that I think it also was majorly that added on to it was like what I said earlier, like he literally just needed a fucking break. If you just like gave him some time off, or maybe a fucking therapist, or the case may be, that would have fucking helped him. Because I understand, like, I guess you can't really tell from times of like, hey, this person's going through this person's going through that, or the case may be, but the motherfucker himself looked like he was like half dead. He looked like he was not getting sleep at all. Like, he was going through problems, but he's still going through mission by mission by mission by mission, and that definitely is taking a fucking toll on him. And then added on to, again, with on top of like, hey, he doesn't have anyone to really, I guess, talk to, or I guess for like friends wise. Like, he does have the other sources which he talked to for a little bit, and again, one of them did die, and that really did also affect him, because he's already on a downward slope of like not really wanting to do this, or like going the other direction, or left instead of right, you know what I mean? But I think by just having like his best friend, maybe like Gojo, or maybe the other person that was in their group, I forgot, the name escapes me, my bad, but having at least like someone that he's really close to, just like be able to like either vent to, or talk about things, or even just like figure his way through things, instead of, I guess, maybe him coming up with that answer on his own when he's already like in a dark, depressive state of like getting that answer. And I also felt like Suki doesn't really help at all when it comes to his decision making. I was like, of telling him, hey, you know, that we tried to give her the cursed spirits. I felt like this is just nonsense, right? And humans like make cursed spirits, right? So we can probably all just make them all come together, and then we just don't have any curse spirits anymore. And then he sort of thinks in his head, he's like, we could probably just erase the monkeys, right? Like, what's some free shit? And it's not like I don't agree with Suki. I do agree with her to an extent, right? Of like, one, making that decision of what you should do, or chase that feeling of what you should do, right? But I think the issue is like not at this point in time. That's the advice that you would give someone before, I guess, these events of what happened, or as well as way after, as soon as like they've gotten the help they needed. Like, it was just like perfect, but the worst timing ever. It should just be generally no surprise why he would even fucking snap in the first place when it comes to him just doing another mission and then just flat out going on a massacre, or the case may be, and going fucking crazy. But one of the things I did find fucking hilarious was when Gojo Sensei came up to him, he's like, oh, why'd you get rid of him? Motherfucker, this is his best friend. It's a conflict of interest. What do you like? What do you think? You think he's gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna kill my best friend? Yeah, I believe he did all these things. Like, automatically, he's not gonna think twice about it. Also, another thing I do want to say is it was like sort of perfect recipe for disaster when it came to things, because obviously Gojo didn't want to be around, because when he was perfecting his techniques, or the case may be, as well as he was getting way too strong, so they all had to do missions on their own. So like they had to be basically by themselves, or the case may be. And you could also make the argument, or the fact of like Gojo, my fault, I met Suguru, could have said something or could have done something, but he's been doing this the whole time, or he has that factor of just doing shit by himself, or just saying, hey, this little voice in my head saying like, yo, I should be a sorcerer, I should just keep doing the way I'm doing things by myself, it's fine, I'll be okay, until he basically gets to the point of breaking the fuck down and going on this new age pathway of destruction of fucking humanity, right? Also, one more thing, like, I don't know why, like, it should be like a factor, or the case may be, or like the Jujutsu High, or whatever the other high schools that look after the sorcerers, like, why do they not like put into terms, or put into check of everyone, like mental state wise, or what they're thinking, or how they are? Because if one of them goes crazy or rogue, then you're just gonna have more Sugurus everywhere. Like, you're just gonna have multiple fucking issues and problems. Like, there has to be like a checks and balance system when it comes to any of these sorcerers, or just seeing like where they're at, you know? But I definitely thought it was just all interesting, just seeing Suguru's downfall from, I guess, the very beginning, from good graces to the downward spiral he goes down. And then also just this whole episode as a whole, and also seeing the little boy Toju was talking about the whole time, just now coming to Jujutsu High, and then also growing up and being, I guess, in the high school, the case may be. It was overall just a really good episode, and just a really good, I guess, end to the arc, when him with just Gojo just waking up and seeing everyone there. But I guess other than that, thank you guys for watching. I love you guys. Like and subscribe, and peace.